Hi there. As a mom of a child with hypotonia, and yes, he's 6'3", walks down the street and he's hypotonic. I see a lot of misconceptions of hypotonia. Now I've been working with it for 18 years personally and publicly, and there are a lot of misconceptions out there. The biggest thing is, first of all, that you're going to get from everyone out there, if they were just a little bit stronger. Like, duh, why do you think I'm here? Okay, this is the first big misconception. Little old ladies can go to the store just fine without core strength. Jimmy, what up? How are you? Sorry, guys. I have a lot of good friends here, and Chimmy's from Bhutan. I've been to Bhutan twice. We're sisters. We haven't seen each other in a long time. We saw each other also in India, and so I need to come back. If anything, just to finally go to Tiger's Nest. And I need another wedding. Is Lucky Dolmill getting married again, or somebody? I shouldn't say that. I was only kidding. Maybe no wrong. How are you guys? Okay, sorry. Going back to the topic, hypotonia. So when you have a child that's low tone, there are many different reasons for low tone. Low tone can happen due to genetics. Low tone can happen, in my son's case, due to a massive infection which caused his system to be too heavy. It could be from traumatic brain injury. You could have low tone. Typically, what you'll see, though, when you have a child that's presenting in low tone is it's more so genetics. Typically, in high tone, you will see that it's trauma, but it can happen from trauma. But that's just basically, and also you can have a low tone due to CP, but very rarely. What people usually get missed is because there's been a birth trauma, they're not looking for the rare genetics. And so they have the low tone and they have the issues. Like I have a child that I know of has SMA and has CP because of the nuchal cord, things like that. Something can always happen, I get it. But a lot of times when you get a diagnosis, it takes away from the facts. Second of all, and I've done webinars on hypotonia. I'll get the links for you so you can really watch more in details. So you're looking at anyone with hypotonia, because they consider it strength, it's the kid's fault. I've heard this for just forever, and it's just like my whole goal for my son, because it wasn't college, it wasn't anything like that. My goal for my son was, can he do something today he couldn't do yesterday? But really what I needed to do, and this is what I'm here for you guys, is you need to know what type of child you have. So you have to understand where the hypotonia is coming from. So a lot of you, because hypotonia, by the way, is just a symptom. It is not a diagnosis of low tone. And so what you have to look at, first of all, is your child medically stable. That's your number one. And within the medically stable, you want life functions, cardiac, of breath, cardiac, let's say, and balance. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now, stamina doesn't mean more muscles. It means ease of movement. And so to create a stamina for your baby instantly, you've got to look at those three core things. If breathing is hard, you'll see that more again in the muscular dystrophies, the rare genetics, or again, you usually won't see respiratory responses necessarily, let's say with EDS, but you will see more of a balance issue. Like I have a little munchkin here right now, and she came in one day, she was like this. I need to do like a before and after of her. So she's already going into standing, everything is, she's going up over the system. Her momentum's changed, boom, boom, boom. All I did for her was just concentrate on the details of balance. Balance is not like where your belly button is. If I'm like this, I have another sense of balance. If I'm like this, I have another sense of balance. Balance changes all the time at a cellular dynamic, as well as a functional, structural, skeletal dynamic, as well as again, how does everything connect? And now we have fascia, and this is where you have collagen issues. So I have munchkins that have collagen issues, but that doesn't mean they have tone issues. But because there's subluxation in the wrist or the knees or the hips, and I can go on and on, I've had munchkins from head to toe. I couldn't even close their eyes for sleep. Subluxations, and again, just guys, subluxation truly means a dislocation thereof. So when your child's born like that, you'll actually get doctors saying it's not subluxation. Okay, what is it? The wrist is falling away from it never got dislocated. Subluxation means dislocation. I say subluxation, it's just what it goes through. Now, tomorrow's webinar is on contractures, so you can see that. I've had munchkins like the great Santino is out surfing right now in Hawaii, something that I've never even done. I've never seen a child present, and he has arthrogryposis and PMG. I've worked with him since he was a munchkin. He'll actually be back here in 2 weeks. Anyway, soon. And when he gets back from Hawaii, and I've never seen that boy once in his life say, I can't do something. A couple of times he's like, I'm too small or whatever. I'm telling you, he'll get balls all over the place. And I mean, this is a long time ago. And flip, 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 flip. I'll clean it up. I'll get it. His parents are super amazing. He runs with his, not runs, but I mean, he's off gallivanting with his sister, brother. He just was in Spain. I mean, like, yes, he's there with his wheelchair and stuff, but at the same time too, it's amazing when he was swimming at 2 years old after he got the trach out, so, and I helped with that. So again, that goes back to life functions, breathing. You need to oppose gravity and breath. So you have to make sure, even though your child's stable now, and people say, but the pulse ox are at 98, and I just posted a child that went into respiratory distress, and it's causing a lot of people to go, that was so rough to see. Guys, this is what goes on with our kids. We need to know how they started off, how they got here, and then how to work around it. But when a life function is compromised, when they're munchkins, you really need to go after it. So free, the newborn movement assessment, free, the breathing course. I would really get into the worried parent course, because now you're going to start getting into a support system, but through foundational milestones. Everybody's looking for the walk, which I am too. When people say, come to me and go, will my child ever walk? I'm going for Mount Everest. I don't settle on a milestone. But the biggest thing is depending on what type of hypotonia you have, can they get in and out of position? If they're doing so with bracing, and that's how you're teaching them, like positioning them in all fours, and they don't have those transition skills, I don't care. They'll never be strong enough to do the milestone. It'll be really a rough go. Movement lesson is about weight transfer, rotation, transitional skills. These make stamina happen. This makes the ease of movement happen, and this goes for optimal development. And so that's what you have to understand. Please, please, please go through the foundational movements before you start looking at equipment-based sustainability. I don't know where you are with your journey, so please don't say, but I've been in AFOs for the past 5 years. I get it. AFOs can be necessary, but if you're using AFOs for strength and positioning, you're going to be the most frustrated parent, because that's not where it comes from. You can't push your feet. Try it right now. Get down on your all, and even sitting, and push real hard with your feet. Nothing else, just your feet, and try and stand up. It's not the way it works. And so to do that, and then they get up, and then again, we're back to the life function of balance is way off. So those are the things that you need to work on. Those are the things that are available here, and why you're here. But you need to know what type of hypotonia you have. And this can get into, again, what kind of level of birth did you have? Like, I've calculated the levels of birth from 1 to 4, and they can come into play. Yes, birth to trauma can affect genetics just as much as birth trauma can affect the level of CP. And so that's the things that you need to just be open to and learn about with your child before it gets into what you call habit, or again, what they're looking for strength. The biggest thing, again, you have to watch with equipment-based sustainabilities. I'm not a big fan of TheraSuits, because again, they take away, in a lot of kids, not all, but a lot of kids, again, their life functions, which is the breath, the respiratory, the speech goes down. We're not meant to exhale through force and through pushing something away. And then for those of you, or maybe a little bit heavy or whatever, if you've ever worn Spanx or something like a girdle type of thing, you get, and you have this great posture and you look great for the party, but I swear you take those suckers off and it's like Baymax and you just flop out. Your tone goes when you have equipment-based sustainability. You might see for a moment that great posture, but at the same time you might not. So again, I have plenty of stuff out there on hypotonia. My son is hypotonic. He's 6'3", 235, and rides bikes to campus, and it works out at EOS Gym and Planet Fitness. You know what I mean? Did he start out that way? Yes, and then he got sick and lost it all and became hypotonic. My son got his hypotonia at 13 months. So again, please, folks, if you listen to, especially with hypotonia, if you listen to the experts and do as they say, not me, I'm talking about the doctors per se, especially if you're Googling your brand new condition that you just got, if you have a diagnosis, you're going to end up with the way they told you to. Right? We have the genetics. I get that. Go to your doctors. Do what you need to do. Have your baseline. If you have a neuromuscular condition, you need a baseline in every area. Your heart is a muscle, so is your eyes. Don't just rely on your neurologist. I learned that the hard way. And there was a great book out there that I put on my resource page. I can never remember the doctor's name, but if raising a kid with neuromuscular conditions, and she's a neurologist, and she says outright, I don't care how good your neurologist is, you get a baseline. You have muscles involved, and muscles are involved in every organ, but you really want optimal development, and that's what we have to start off with. So I don't care how severe the child is, I go for gold. I'm not trying to fix a child. I'm here to give them better movements. You want better movements, I want better movements, and so do our children. And that's what we have to get away from. The diagnosis is there to keep your child medically stable. And sometimes, again, like this hypotonia, it's not even a diagnosis, it's a symptom. But there's ways to work about it. But if you go after core strength versus core movements, it's gonna be an uphill battle, and I don't think you're gonna get what you need. And again, I've learned it the hard way, and I'm here to take that path away from you, to make it clean and simple. You need a plan. Newborn movement assessment, do the breathing course, post your videos, and then we'll go from there. Thanks.